The engine as legacy. You know what they say, horsepower gets you noticed, but reliability gets you respected. Muscle cars weren't just built for speed. They were built for weekend wars, high school legends, and late-night garage stories that lasted longer than your first marriage. But not every engine lived to tell the tale. Some roared for decades, others fizzled out like a cheap spark plug on a cold morning. Today, we're pulling back the hood on 4 engines that became legends, and 3 that ended up as scrap metal faster than a burnout at a stoplight. Let's talk about the difference between built to last and dead on arrival. And trust me, one of these might surprise you. The survivors, 4 engines built for the long run. 1. Chevy 350 Small Block, Gen 1. This one, practically the Chuck Norris of engines. Born in 1955, it powered everything from Camaros to C10s, and probably your neighbor's lawnmower if he got creative. Why it lasts. Overbuilt bottom end, forgiving tolerances, and enough parts out there to build one from junkyard leftovers and optimism. Want it to live forever. Upgrade the oiling system, toss in some roller rockers, and boom, you'll die before this engine does. Just don't ignore timing chain wear. That's the silent killer here. Real talk, 200,000 miles on these things is average if you change your oil more often than your socks. Fun fact, this small block's DNA lasted nearly 50 years in production. From boats to street rods, it's basically duct tape with pistons. And here's the thing, it wasn't just a motor, it was America's soundtrack. The low rumble of a 350 on a Saturday morning could make the whole neighborhood peek outside. It's that sound, not an alarm clock, that told you it was time to wrench, race, or raise a little hell. 2. Ford 5.0-liter HO/302 Windsor. Fox body guys, you already know, this engine is the gift that keeps on giving. Unless you try to squeeze 500 horses out of it with Harbor Freight tools. Why it lasts. Low compression, low stress, heads that actually breathe instead of wheeze. Common upgrades, better intake, beefier head studs, and a cam that doesn't sound like it came from a riding mower. But beware that factory camshaft wear, if it starts ticking, it's not clocking time. Ask any Fox body owner who's daily driven one since the Clinton administration, these things will outlast your second marriage. And the lineage? This block traces back to the 60s Fairlane. Ford just kept refining it for decades, because when something works, you don't mess with it. Oh, and those who remember the 80s Mustang commercials, when Ford bragged, "The boss is back." Yeah, they weren't lying. This engine was the comeback kid that helped save American performance from extinction. 3. Chrysler 318 LA V8. Ah yes, the Mopar underdog. Not flashy, not loud, but unkillable. It's the cockroach of V8s, and I mean that with total respect. Built with low compression and lazy factory timing, the 318 is almost impossible to kill. Taxi fleets ran them. Police cruisers ran them. That one guy down the street with 3 darts and a dream, he ran them too. Wanna keep it alive? Fix that weak factory cooling system and check your coolant chemistry. Because bad pH eats gaskets faster than you can say, blown head. Trivia time. This engine powered everything from Dodge Darts to station wagons. It didn't ask for respect, it earned it by never quitting. And here's the fun part. Mopar guys know that a well-tuned 318 can take abuse all day long. You can run it hot, run it hard, run it half a quart low, it just shrugs and keeps on going. It's not glamorous, but it's faithful. And in the world of engines, that's rare gold. 4. Buick 3800 Series 2 V6. Alright, not a V8, but hear me out. This little torque monster is the Terminator in khakis. Why it lasts. Iron block, aluminum heads, modern tolerances, and for once, GM actually nailed it. Most common mod, replace that plastic intake manifold before it floods your cylinders. And if you've got the supercharged version, service that blower before it grenades. Real world, 300,000 miles is just a warm-up lap if you treat it right. In 1995, Ward's named it one of the 10 best engines in the world. From minivans to Regals, the 3800 proved that boring can still be brilliant. And maybe that's the secret. It didn't need muscle car swagger or chrome valve covers. It just quietly became one of GM's most bulletproof creations. If the 350 is the legend, the 3800 is the loyal best friend that's always on time. The Heartbreakers, 3 engines that couldn't take the heat. 1. Oldsmobile 350 Diesel, LF9. Imagine taking a gas engine, doing nothing to strengthen it, and calling it a diesel. That was GM's big brain move in 1978. No forged internals, no reinforced block, just marketing and wishful thinking. These things failed harder than New Coke and took the diesel reputation down with them. Common story: blown head gaskets, warped heads, injectors crying for mercy. Most didn't even make it to 100K before they died in shame. The sad part: GM rushed it out during the oil crisis. Instead of designing a real diesel, they just said, close enough. Spoiler: it wasn't. This disaster scared Americans away from diesel cars for decades. Even today, mention GM diesel to an old-timer and watch the PTSD kick in. 2. Cadillac HT 4100/4.1/4.5/4.9 V8s. Cadillac tried to innovate with aluminum blocks, but what they built was basically a war crime against mechanics. Poor casting, bad coolant design, and heads that warped if you looked at them wrong. If your temp gauge twitched, you were already too late. Even warranty departments didn't want to deal with these. These things overheated more than a teenager in a Camaro with no AC. The HT 4100 almost tanked Cadillac's reputation for good. And even today, old-school caddy guys flinch when you mention it. The worst part: it came from a company once known for engineering excellence. This engine was proof that even kings can fall asleep at the wheel. 3. Ford 4.6-liter modular 2V, early models. Ah yes, the spaghetti monster. Plastic timing guides, aluminum heads, spark plugs that eject themselves like bottle rockets. Timing chains rattle, guides wear, spark plugs go airborne. Fixes: new guides, better timing kits, and maybe a priest. Ask any Mustang mechanic which years they won't touch. This engine is the reason. To be fair, Ford eventually fixed most of this by the mid-2000s. But the early versions, let's just say they built character. Still, credit where it's due, that modular platform evolved into the mighty Coyote. So even the bad ones left behind a legacy worth respecting. Call it tough love from the blue oval. What separates the heroes from the zeros? Metallurgy. The winners use strong alloys and solid castings. The losers, pot metal dreams and budget beam counters. Design philosophy. Engines like the Chevy 350 were overbuilt tanks. Others were designed by accountants with hangovers. Cooling systems. A great engine dies quick if it can't shed heat. Always check your flow, fans, and coolant chemistry. Lubrication. Smart oil channel design saves cams, bearings, and your sanity. And finally, user error. Abuse kills engines faster than bad design. You can't redline cold oil and expect miracles. Making your muscle CR last. Practical wisdom. You want your ride to last. Here's the gospel according to Garage Life. Change the oil. On time. Every time. Check your coolant. Use the right mix. Monitor your temps. That little needle is your best friend. Buying used? Look for clean oil, fresh gaskets, consistent compression, no mystery coolant leaks or homemade fixes. One mod to rule them all. Oiling system upgrades. Run away from. Ran when parked. Cracked blocks. Cars that come with a bucket of parts and a prayer. Bonus tip: a cheap borescope in 5 minutes might save you $5,000 and a lifetime of regret. Conclusion: choose your legacy. Power is fun, but power that lasts, that's what builds legends. Engines like the 350, the 302, and the 318 weren't just motors, they were eras. They powered youth, rebellion, and everything Detroit once stood for. So take care of yours, tune it, respect it, because an engine that lives long enough to tell its story, becomes part of yours too. Drop a comment below, which of these surprised you most? Or tell me about the engine you'll never forget. And hey, if you're building your dream car, make sure it lasts longer than your first marriage. Hit like, subscribe, and keep the legends alive.